One again. Uh, I am Sean Clark, the Chief Executive Officer of Supreme Counseling for Personal Development, and I want to start by taking the opportunity to thank you guys for joining us this morning. We had a few other persons that had indicated that they will be with us, but for those of us who had to battle the morning traffic, we know how it is on the outside. However, I really want to thank you for the effort that you've put in to join us and hopefully to partner with us as we launch our Reach One, Save One initiative. My job here this morning will be to go through with you relatively quickly the different elements of Reach One, Save One, and to give you an idea as to what the project is all about, how the project came about, and what are our objectives and the outcomes we would like to achieve from Reach One, Save One. Things happen. And I'm asking myself, why is this not working? Well, it's not plugged in. Yes. So we'll start off firstly by giving you an overview of Supreme Counseling. Who are we? Supreme Counseling was officially launched on July 9th, 2009. So we are almost 14 or so years old. I went to school long, but not regularly, so forgive me if my math is not correct. It is a charitable organization registered as charity number 788 under the Barbados Charities Act, Cap 243. It is a non-profit, voluntary, non-governmental organization which is a community-based, non-residential program, and we have a focus on crisis intervention. We maintain a commitment to education, counseling, and mentorship services for persons experiencing family and behavioral problems and other issues that may arise in the community from time to time. Our mission statement is to provide counseling services that can uplift and enhance the moral fiber of the region's youth through behavioral modification techniques. Supreme Counseling for Personal Development will serve the regional community as leaders in the provision of rehabilitation and support services for young people who are challenged with deviancy, misconduct, emotional issues as a result of misuse, drugs, family crises, and or unmanageable situations. Our vision to become a regional leader in the provision of counseling services for young people. Now, what do we do at Supreme Counseling? We offer individual and group counseling in the following areas: anger management, conflict resolution, self-esteem building, self-awareness, behavioral modification, grief, depression, family violence, literacy and educational development, bullying prevention, family relations, deviancy, and misconduct. So you will see that our reach is relatively broad. The origins of Supreme Counseling, the program was found out of a need to have a preventative program. Back in 2009, I worked with the Ministry of Health at the psychiatric hospital, but I was placed at one of the halfway houses at Dash Valley St. George, Everton House. And I found that a lot of young people were sent to psyche for unmanageable situations. And I felt that there was need for an organization to offer preventative measures in opposed to rehabilitation. I did my research and I realized that yes, we had a lot of organizations on the island, but the majority of them were into rehabilitation. And I felt that our young people needed something to present them with the tools to prevent situations from happening. Thus the birth of Supreme Counseling. Persons who wanted to make a positive contribution to the society. Myself, Mr. Kimaya Safri, was also a part of the original plan for Supreme Counseling. It started as a one-year program. So we went into the schools and we worked with a group of young people for 1 year. But then when I broke the program down after that year, I realized that it is almost impossible to remedy a situation or a concern or a problem with a young person at 14 years old. It means that it would have taken at least 12 to 13 years for that problem to develop, to manifest itself. So for me to go in and think that we will bring about any kind of behavioral modification within 1 year, I was not satisfied with that. So we extended the program from 1 year to 2 years. And then from there, we went to 5 years. So the Supreme Counseling program is now a 5-year program. When the children enter the program in first form, that child remains with us until he or she graduates secondary school. Even outside of secondary school, they are still a part of the Supreme program because they can still access all of our services. We have young people at 21 years old who still come to see me when they have situations that they cannot handle. Young people that I would have met at 11 years old. We still help them with job placements. We still help them with writing CVs. Whatever help they need, we still offer that help. The program started with 2 schools, St. James Secondary, now Frederick Smith, and the Parkinson Memorial School with 40 students, 20 at St. James Secondary, 20 at Parkinson. Just before COVID, we would have moved from 40 students to 1,570 young people that were directly in the care of Supreme Counseling across 6 secondary schools. Now, why are we doing this? Why do we think it is important at this time to have such an initiative? Recently, there has been growing concern in the Caribbean regarding the negative manifestation of youth socialization and development. It is not only a Barbados thing, we realize that this thing is happening across the region. Alternative youth subcultures that provide self-esteem, social standing, and income for some young people are often associated with negative consequences such as illiteracy, drugs, and violence. So we're looking at the whole block culture, what is happening on the block, what are these subcultures, and what are these subcultures teaching our young people? While numbers suggest that a minority of these young people are engaged in antisocial acts, this minority tends to be highly profiled, leading to fear amongst the general society. And that's something that we've seen in Barbados over the past few months, where we had a minority of our young people involved in the whole gun warfare and so on, but that minority tormenting an entire country, where you had this public outcry of people being afraid to leave home, people being afraid of doing things. Some people were even afraid to sit at home with their doors opened and so on. So that small minority were able to terrorize an entire country. Factors such as poor social competence, low academic achievement, impulsivity, truancy, and poverty increase individuals with risk of violence. And this is what we are trying to prevent with our young people in terms of offering them some kind of social competency, teaching them the social skills that they would need: self-esteem building, anger management, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, helping them to be able to attain some level of academic achievement or even vocational achievement. Because if we realize that a child is not necessarily good with 1 and 1 is 2, but that child is extremely good by being able to pick this computer down and put it back up, then we try to send our young people into that direction so that they can develop their skill and their competence or their competency. Developing children life skills, improving their participation and performance in school and at the community level, and increasing their prospects for employment can help protect them from violence, both in childhood and later in life. And that is a no-brainer. Once we give our young people the tools, once we give our society the tools that are needed, and they become productive, they have less time to get involved in deviant behaviors, less time to get involved in violence, less time to get involved in vandalism. Interventions for developing life skills can help young people to avoid violence by improving their social and emotional competencies while teaching them how to deal effectively and non-violently with conflicts. Now, the Supreme Program, the Reach One, Save One program, will address the challenges young people face in our various schools and our communities. And we will address and try to remedy, or at least play our part in remedying all of the things that would have been mentioned above. The Reach One, Save One initiatives, we have 3 main elements or 3 main components. Project Rescue, which is our school-based program. The Families in Therapy, or FIT program, is geared towards family and home. And the Community Assistance Program, or CAP, looks at our community. So that we are looking at this thing now in a holistic way. We are not just now concentrating on school, but we are concentrating on the community as well in terms of community life and socialization. And we are looking at the home as well and family development. Bringing families together, counseling families, working with families. The rationale behind the Reach One, Save One program: we at Supreme Counseling, we conducted a study in November 2021 amongst the secondary school students on this island. And it showed alarming negative perceptions. Young people showed alarming negative perceptions of self. Now, we looked at 11 constructs: self-esteem, self-concept, self-awareness, self-acceptance and self-efficacy, anger management, conflict resolution and problem solving, in addition to critical thinking, decision-making, emotional intelligence, and mental health. 19 of the 21 secondary schools participated in this survey. We had an overall population of 16,748 students. Of that number, 6,337 students completed the questionnaire, giving a participation rate of 38%. So 38% of our secondary school students participated in the survey. Of that 38%, my friends, 26% of the respondents had negative perceptions of self. And straight off, that shows how alarming this thing is. We were able, out of 16,000 and so students, we surveyed 6,337, which is 38% of that population. And of that 38%, 26% indicated that they have negative perception of self. It bleeds the question, therefore, that if we were able to survey 80% of that population, what would the numbers be like? The study revealed that many students had difficulty maintaining their mental health, handling conflict, and controlling anger. When we look at mental health, 34% of the students expressed that they are depressed most of the time. 34%. 33% were sad most of the time. 25% confessed that they have suicidal thoughts often, which is alarming, which is concerning. An average of 1,950 or 31% of our students showed some mental health concerns. When we look at conflict resolution, 35% agreed that they could not resolve conflict. 36% confessed that they did not know how to express themselves. An average of 1,566 of our students, or 25%, have weak conflict resolution skills. They cannot resolve conflict. They cannot talk things out. The first thing that they go to is fighting, cursing, getting involved in those antisocial behaviors. 70% of the students surveyed indicated that when they are angry, they make mistakes, while 63% get angry when they make mistakes. So while we have 70% of our students indicating that when they are angry, they make mistakes, 63% are saying that when they get angry, they make mistakes. 61% of our students get angry quickly. According to young people, they move from 1 to 100 real quick, while 39% confessed that they could not manage their anger. When they get angry, they are out of control. It was established that an average of 2,956 students, or 47%, showed that they had anger management concerns. So 47% of that population indicated that they have some level of anger management concerns. If we go outside of Supreme Counseling, the National Task Force on Crime Prevention in 2010 found that 43% of our secondary school students and 21% of primary schools students in Barbados utilized force to get what they wanted from someone at school. This speaks more so of bullying, because when you get something from some person with force, you're speaking, for example, of taking money from some person, so the extortion of funds. So we're speaking here of bullying. So you're saying now that 43% of our secondary school students back in 2010 got what they wanted from their classmates by using force. 5% of the primary school students and 18% of secondary schools acknowledge bringing a weapon to school with the intent to hurt someone. 10% of our primary and 19% of our secondary school students claimed they belong to a gang. Now, I'm painting the picture. I'm giving the rationale as to why we believe at this time Reach One, Save One is important, and why we are seeking the partnership of Corporate Barbados to make sure that our reach now can be much broader, to reach as many young people, as many homes, as many families as possible, to try to turn these statistics around. Because we believe firmly that something needs to be done, and something needs to be done now. Many of these risky behaviors amongst adolescents are linked to their upbringing, their living conditions, parent-child relationships, and peer interactions. Both the students and teachers perceived parenting skills and the home environment as the most significant contributor to disruptive behavior. And that was taken from a survey that was completed, so Supreme Counseling did not just pull that out of the skies. Many external factors shape adolescents' coping strategies and behaviors, and providing single parents with the tools and techniques for coping with and overcoming their difficult situations, we can help create better parent-child relationships and emotionally agile Barbadian citizens. Now, this is just a photo quickly of two of our young people, and I love to brag of my children. These are two young people from the Grant Liadas Memorial School, and they're doing relatively well in cricket, and they're both supreme beings. And that's who we consider our children. As long as they're in the program, we consider them as supreme beings. And we are very, very proud of the achievements that these two young people, the strides that these two young people are making, especially when we know where these young people came from. So let's get into the actual project itself. We will look first at element 1, which is Project Rescue. And Project Rescue, as I've said before, is our school program. Please feel free to stop me if I'm going too quickly, if you have any questions, to ask clarity on anything, and I will do my best to answer. Now, for us, rescue. Yes, ma'am. Well, we did share the statistics with the Ministry of Education, both as a compiled document, a comprehensive document with all 19 of the schools, and we also shared individual reports as well with the ministry, and we sent individual reports to all of the participating schools. So it is not statistics that we're just sitting on, but we did pass them on to the ministry and to the participating schools. No, no, feel free. It's quite okay. For us, as I was saying, our rescue, Project Rescue, we are teaching our young people to be responsible, to be enthusiastic, to be savvy, to be courteous, to be unselfish, and to be enterprising. The overall objective of Project Rescue is to assist in bringing about a holistic change in the lives of wayward and delinquent young people who are facing challenges with their behavior and discipline in our society. Component one of Project Rescue is our Supreme Self Development and Awareness Program. And in this program, it was formerly called the Life Skills Program. And we decided to change that because some teachers started, and students as well, started referring to the program as the anger management program. And it started to create a stigma where children, oh, you're in the anger management program. Or some teachers would say, oh, you got a problem with your anger, you want supreme counseling. So to try to eliminate that, we changed it from the Life Skills Program to the Supreme Self-Development and Awareness Program. And believe it or not, that stigma gradually disappeared. We conduct sessions in 6 secondary schools: Frederick Smith, St. George Secondary, Lestavon, Princess Margaret, Grantley Adams Memorial, and Parkinson. And we really want to widen that scope. In February of this year, we trained secondary school teachers from all 21 secondary schools in the delivery of life skills. It was a 5-day workshop, and we want to use those teachers to really come into the fold of Supreme Counseling and help us to teach these life skills and to deliver this program at all the secondary schools, because you would appreciate that 6 schools really is a drop in the bucket. And it is not even the entire school population, but a sample or a part thereof. The current enrollment is 1,350 students, 822 males, 528 females. We conduct counseling clinics at Grantley Adams, Princess Margaret, St. George Secondary, and the Parkinson Memorial School, and that, when it started again later this month, happens on a weekly basis. Now, what are these counseling clinics? We send a psychologist to the school, and the psychologist will sit and will have one-on-one sessions with the individual students that need it. So the teacher, the guidance counselor, the principal, a parent can identify a student that they believe need that additional assistance in addition to the guidance counselor at the school. Now, if we realize that the problem is a deep problem, then that child is moved from the school, or the sessions are moved from the school to the Supreme Office, where then they can get more intense therapy for whatever the concern is, and then we can bring the families in as well to do family therapy. Yes, ma'am. Good question. The room, it happens in a private room, so it's not like in a classroom or out in the open. It may happen in the confines of the guidance counselor's room or a room close thereby. One. Secondly, the psychologist is identified as a supreme counseling facilitator. So when you go in, people think, you are part of Supreme Counseling or you're going to the facilitator. Although there are trained psychologists all at the master's level, we know they are psychologists, but in the schools they are group facilitators. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead. Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Graves.
Parents, which you brought in. But what if the parents are part of the problem?
Which is often the case. Sometimes the problem is the parent. I can cite an example with you. I remember years ago, one of our psychologists, she saw a parent and a child, and after the session, she said to the parent, next week, I want you to leave the child home and come see me. And she saw that parent for about 6 to 8 weeks. And after that, the parent called me back and said, Mr. Clark, I really, really want to thank you. I really see a change in his behavior. And that's the honest truth. We did nothing with the young man, but she cannot accept that she was the change. But she saw a change in the young man's behavior because the young man saw a change in her behavior. So yes, sometimes that is the case, and that is why we want to get in the parents, and that is why we are now developing our FIT program, which is Families in Therapy, because oftentimes when a parent brings the child to the Supreme Office for Counseling, the child will go in with the psychologist, the parent sits in the waiting room until the session is finished, or we leave and go somewhere, come back in an hour. What we are saying now with the FIT program, that can no longer happen. Well, the child is in one counseling room with his or her psychologist. The parent or parents will be in the second counseling room with his or their psychologist, and the counseling is happening simultaneously. And at times, the two psychologists will bring the family together for family therapy. So it's not a situation where we're just looking at one and not the other. We are looking at families through the FIT program. As I mentioned earlier, the program is now a 5-year program. And there are students who have graduated the Supreme program who wants to develop an after-school program because they want to continue being a part of this program. Additionally, there are a few young people who would have gone through the Supreme program who we hired to be assistant facilitators to go back into the schools and to help other young people. Now, what are the objectives of the Supreme Self-Development and Awareness Program? To assist participants with the development of coping, social, and life skills, to make participants aware of self and to inculcate a high level of self-esteem in all who participate in the project, to offer counseling services that can enhance and uplift the moral fiber of our youth through behavioral modification techniques, to inculcate and maintain an ultimate level of integrity and self-worth in the students and young people of Barbados, to assist the schools in maintaining a safe and friendly environment where teaching and learning remain a safe and secure activity, and to offer early intervention in the lives of wayward or delinquent students in our school system. What the other objective is to make participants aware of various ways of dealing with different situations in a calm way. All right. Through this program, we offer psychological assessments to students enrolled in the program, and we want to extend that even for students outside of the program free of cost. Free of cost to the family. But we still have to find the funds to pay the clinical psychologist who will perform the assessment. I started that because when you look at the market cost of doing an assessment in Barbados, it can start now from as much as $1,700. And for some people, that $1,700 Some people go as much as 2,000, 2,000 some for a psychological assessment. The reality is that if you have a parent, a single parent with four children in a household, and the guidance counselor says to this parent, you need to get a psychological assessment for Sean Clark. And the parent then need to decide, should I really take up $1,700 and spend per he when I got bills to pay, when I have other children to support and so on? It almost becomes a no-brainer. And it is not because the parent is negligent or she don't care about Sean or whatever, but she has an entire household to worry about. We come in and we offer that psychological assessment free of cost to that parent. Yes, ma'am? Mm-hmm. Mr. Graves? Sorry. I want to be a bit more alert. Thank you.
Thanks. So I was saying, coming out of one of your earlier points and what would have occurred at SJPI yesterday, of course, it's an ongoing issue, so we wouldn't get into that discussion, but is there any scope for tertiary?
Yeah, we do work with some students from the University of the West Indies, from BCC and so on, but that is more on a private one-on-one basis where they come into the office and they seek the assistance of a psychologist or a counselor. But in terms of actually working directly with the institutions, not at this stage. Yeah, so we offer these psychological assessments free of cost. And after the psychological assessment is done, the clinical psychologist will make recommendations to the parent, to the school, and to Supreme Counseling on how we can work with that child. Now, if the child is not a member of the Supreme Counseling program, we just don't do the assessment, give the parent a report, and leave it there. There's follow-up. So that I assign them one of my psychologists as a case manager for that person, and we follow up to make sure that that child is working, that the recommendations are being followed, and so on. The recommendations are tailor-made. So we don't have the same recommendations for any two clients. We look at the individual situation and we individualize the recommendations made. Out of the recommendations, we have then what we call a case conference. This is where we go to the school, the clinical psychologist, myself, we will sit with the principal, the guidance counselor, the form teacher, and the parent, and we will go through the assessment. Then the clinical psychologist recommends to the guidance counselor what can be shared with teachers. Because you could appreciate that a psychological assessment is a private document, and you don't want to put the entire document out there for everybody to see. So more so the recommendations will be shared with the form teachers and with other teachers as to what you can do. Allow Sean to sit in the front in the class and opposed to the back of the class. Every 5 minutes, allow Sean just to get up and walk around the classroom. If he's ADHD, if he may be restless or whatever. So these little things then that you share with the class teacher, but not the entire document that will contain a lot of private information.
And you have the psychological assessment done and the report is prepared. Is a copy of that report also shared with the parent? Because then, to me then, if the child is already in an abusive state and you've done the report and then you've given it to the parent to see, then how do you manage that? Because that child still has to stay in that household. And it's almost like they've complained, for want of a better word, for the parent. So how do you protect that child?
Well, depending on the severity of the abuse, we are governed by a convention that says it has to be reported to the authorities. So we may have to get in the child care board. We may have to get in the police. We cannot hear that the child is being abused, whether it's sexually or physically, and just go as if it was never said to us. As soon as it is said to us, we have by law and by the protocols to report that to the child care board or to the police and have it investigated. In a similar vein, if a child says to us that he has suicidal ideations, or he plans to kill himself, or there's some high level of self-harm, we have to refer that child to the assessment unit at the psychiatric hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. And that is a no-brainer. We don't have a choice in the matter but to do that. I basically cover that. A part of the self-development and awareness program as well. We have not done it for the past few years, but we involved the entire school. We will send one of our cans to the school, and we would ask the school to participate in a food drive. And after we've collected the food, I mean, we used to work with a popular hotel, supermarket as well, with that distribution. When we receive the items, they're packaged like you see there in the photo. We present that to the principal or the guidance counselor with the direction or the directive that they must give it to a family or families at the school that are in need of. And if you put me in front of firing squad and ask me, who are the students that received the package from Hilltop High, you have to kill me because I don't know. I don't want to know. I just want to know that the recipients that are in need of the assistance are getting the assistance. That's all we need to know in that case. We have our group sessions where the group facilitator will go into the school weekly, and we will have sessions with our students, whether it be anger management, self-esteem building, conflict resolution, you name it. The group facilitator will go in and will conduct the session with the students. It is not an extracurricular activity. That is one of the things that I fought for in the initial stages, because I wanted people to see the importance of the program. So it is now a part of the school day, and the sessions happen more so during the health and family life education period, where the child will leave English and go into the Supreme program, leave the Supreme program, continue the school day. It's not a situation where when the bell rings to end school, then you have to come to the Supreme program. This aspect of the program is conducted from first to third form. Sessions are held weekly during health and family life, as I just mentioned, and we look at modules in the junior school: self-esteem building, self-image, all the selves, anger management, problem solving, conflict resolution, and critical thinking. When the student then goes into senior school for form, then they're going to an aspect of the program called Unlocking Your Future. And Unlocking Your Future, we do seminars like business etiquette, public speaking, help me guys, relationship and decision making. We do those in a seminar format. For the business etiquette, we ask that the children dress in work attire, not their school uniforms, and they come in, we present them with the folders, the same way we will do as professionals when we are going into a seminar. They get the same treatment, they get their coffee break, they get their lunch, and in the evening part of the seminar, we have human resource managers that will come in and take our young people through actual interview skills so that they know what to expect. We recently also partnered with Princess Trust International, where we're now offering the senior students a program called the Achieve program. And with the Achieve program, they can do some of those same topics that I just mentioned, but the good thing about it is that at the end of it, they can get a certificate, 2 or 3 certificates that are recognized in the UK and some other parts of the Caribbean. And we think that is vitally important, because I know that employers, yes, we still look at academics, but we also want to know you're a team player. We want to know you're coming into the office and that you can bring value to the company. We know that we want some person that can resolve conflict and not bring conflict within that knows how to walk away, that can manage their anger and so on. So that certificate is one that can be given to prospective employers to say, well, listen, Sean Clark have been through this level of training as well. And that is working wonders for our children. We also do our parenting program as well. So we don't just work with our children, we work with the parents. The parents need to go through what we call the parenting guidelines. And we don't say you are a bad parent, we are enhancing your parenting skills. We are helping you to understand that the child that you had at 10 years old at primary school is not the same child you have 11 years old at secondary school. And we present the parents with those tools to be able to understand that. And we've covered all of these slides. Fantastic. At the end of each term, we have a social event where we bring all 6 of the schools together and we congregate at one location and the children enjoy themselves. This is a picture, I think, was this the cruise? Yeah, this was a local cruise that we had, and the children massively enjoy that. The last event we had before COVID was a water event, and they're actually asking for part 2 of the water event. And our prize giving ceremony, every year, we have our annual Christmas dinner and prize giving ceremony. We had to take that program out to the Wilde Gymnasium because we've outgrown other venues. In 2019 or 18 was it? The last one we had. In 2019 we had about 1,500 persons at that event, young people, and we cater for them free of cost. We don't ask for a cent to do it, because I recognize that dinner for a lot of my children will be the closest thing that they will get to a Christmas dinner. And so we want to, I remember my staff and I, we used to be back and forth, because some people say, but Mr. Clark get hot dogs, and they say, no. We're not giving these children hot dogs. We're giving them everything. They're getting ham, they're getting turkey, they're getting chicken, they're getting beef stew, and we just spread it out across the board. And then we also have our prize giving ceremony, where we reward children from all the schools who we would have seen some level of improvement. We instituted an award called the Step in the Right Direction, so that if we see a child, that have been given a lot of trouble, just give us a little you get a Step in the Right Direction award. And by the next year, that child is up for the Supreme Being of the Year, or the Supreme Being of the school. At that same ceremony, we had about how many awardees? 400 and something. We had 400 and something awardees in 2019 when we last had our ceremony. 400 and something of our young people that we made sure that we show them that we appreciate what they're doing, because we believe a lot in positive reinforcement as well. We also have, as a part of that program, our Supreme Enhancing Lives Forever mentoring program. So when the child reaches second form, the child is attached to a mentor. And this mentor will help the child in developing positive life skills, helping the child with homework assignments, developing positive study habits, and having that person outside of the family that person feels comfortable in talking with. Since we started this program, we got, no, I paused because I was thinking of the right way to put this. A parent got incarcerated for sexually abusing a child, and that child told that to the mentor. And the mentor reported it to me, and then we had to follow protocol. So I mentioned that to show how close and that program is, and the wonders that it can work. We also take it very seriously. I do a mix with my mentors. I had a mentor that encouraged his mentee to tell a lie for him. The mentee came and told me, and I terminated the relationship with that mentor immediately. So that is how serious we take that aspect of our program. And then we have the obvious bullying prevention program. It's just some photos of some stuff that they would have, the mentors, the mentees. We do a lot of firsts with them. So going in a pool at the hotel for a lot of these children, that was a first. I brought a number of children here last Sunday for Supreme Welcomes You. And those children were walking all over the hotel because they've never been to Hilton. They've heard of it, but they've never seen it. And for them, that was a morale booster. You know, so they could go to school on Monday morning and tell children, I went to Hilton last night. We like to offer our children that. We took them on Caribbean cruises. We took them overseas. We visited about 4 or 5 different Caribbean countries. So we like to provide for our children. Then you have the obvious bullying prevention program, where we work with the schools to address bullying. Right now the program is in 4 of our secondary schools: Grantley Adams, Frederick Smith, St. George Secondary, 3 of our schools. The program operates in 4 areas of concentration in addressing bullying. We look at the class level, at the school level, where we do things on a school level together to address bullying. We look at the classroom level, where the classroom will do things like class meetings and other smaller things to discuss bullying. The individual level, where we address not only the person exhibiting bullying behaviors or the person we once considered the bully, but we also look at the victim, at the target, once called the victim, and the bystander as well. So we just don't concentrate on the target. We look at all 3 players within the bullying episode to bring about some level of in the bullying situation. And at the community level, we involve members of the community, so that there's a what we call a bullying prevention coordinating committee, and that committee is made up of teachers, a member of management, a member of the wider school community, a parent, and students. The objective is to reduce existing bully victim problems and to prevent the development of new problems through greater public awareness and education. And I just want to boast with just some statistics. We surveyed St. George Secondary School in 2018 before they joined the obvious bullying prevention program, and then we surveyed them again in 2022, about 4 months after they joined the bullying prevention program. In 2018, the level of bullying at the school was 22.3% without the program. In 2022, about 4 months into the program, bullying at St. George Secondary School fell to 11%. So through this program, we've seen a reduction of bullying 11.3% at St. George Secondary School. For the Grantley Adams School in 2018, we surveyed the school, 18% bullying. In 2022, 11%, a decrease of 7% of bullying at the Grantley Adams School. I found it important to share that with you because the program works. As long as we work the program works. Now, I was going to show this video, but I will bypass this video for now in the interest of time. But this was a young lady who graduated the Supreme program. And where is no, he got to plug out the headset, yeah, to plug in there.
Of the 3 years ago, I remain connected to it despite. I started the Supreme Counseling for personal development at the age of 11. I have finished the school aspect of the 3 years ago, and I remain connected to it despite. I have completed the stages these graduates here are now completing. The program remains with me after graduation, and I believe that was one of the intentions Mr. Clark had in developing the program. Tonight, although there are many people in this room, my main focus is to you, the graduates. My journey with the program was long, fun at times, and yet so difficult. In the beginning, I was not interested in the program at all. I thought that if someone did me wrong, by any means, they needed to know. As I went through the stages, I met people and friendships grew, and the program became a part of me. It was not easy, for I had to work on my anger and my rude attitude. The program taught me life skills that I am using up to this day, and that will be important to me to keep and use throughout the rest of my life. Hence, the name life skills. Learning to listen and mastering the skills were difficult at times. I honestly did not believe that they would work, but they did. Eventually, my behavior changed, and my grades started to improve. I was able to graduate from the college and private school with 7 CXCs, all passes, and good techniques to help me manage my anger, boost my confidence and self-esteem, so I can do public speaking and carry out tasks, resolve conflict, and think critically. I learned way more than I could have imagined. To be honest, I really did not know what to expect of the program at 11 years old, and up to the day I graduated. I fully understood the purpose of the Supreme Counseling for Personal Development program and my growth when I was writing this speech. However, during my 5 years at the college and private school, I was aware that each term and the year, the program was deeply a part of shaping the way I thought and behaved for the good. I found that the techniques taught in the sessions were helpful. The skills I learned in the program are still being used up to this day. I had to apply critical thinking to the skills and the projects I do at the community college. I have to apply confidence and self-efficacy at the Barbados Community College and my job. The lack of esteem and confidence would have impacted on my performance. Conflict resolution, managing my anger, and problem solving are used every day because each day always brings some issue. I am able to tell people about the program and the English lessons Mr. Sean Clark and Shade Watson, my mentor, taught me and teaches me up to this day. My word to you graduates would be to continue on your journey, whether it be tertiary education or the world of work. And remember what you have learned the past years in the program. So what I would tell you guys is to keep your head on and to strive for success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. That was Rianne Hunt, a graduated Supreme Being. And we have a lot more of those testimonies from young people who would have graduated the Supreme program, saying what the program would have done for them and the skills that they are still using up to today. Element 2 of the Reach One, Save One program, families in therapy. We are looking currently at single parent households, one of the most vulnerable forms of families. Children living in single parent households have 2 to 3 times greater chances of exhibiting emotional and behavioral difficulties, and we see that in our work every day. Parents who are trying to help their children deal with mental health issues are also suffering from mental health challenges themselves. That too is something that we realize every day. Mental health disorders are often complex for parents to address on their own, especially with children and adolescents. So the Families in Therapy program we created to respond to this need. Through the FIT, single parent families will partake in counseling sessions. Parents will learn practical parenting skills for coping with difficult situations and overcoming them. The overall goal of the FIT program is to help families better understand their emotional and needs, improve, reduce problem behaviors within the family, and enhance stability. And the program aims to be beneficial in several ways. To provide counseling for single-parent household families, to aid in the management of the child behavioral and psychological issues, and to provide several parenting seminars to present parents with the tools needed to manage the emotional aspect of the household effectively. The selection process: families must be from a single-parent household, one parent residing in the home. The family should have a child enrolled in primary or in secondary school, and although we've said that we have identified a few parents with children who have not even started primary school as yet, but who are exhibiting problems that created concerns for us, that we felt that we needed to start the intervention. Families should be low income or currently obtaining government assistance, including but not limited to welfare. The child should exhibit behavioral and or psychological challenges. By the end of 3 months, participants will receive 10 counseling sessions. By the end of 3 months, participants would attend 4 parenting seminars, and in the same time period, participants will be surveyed using an assessment tool to assess the success of the program. To improve open communication and the expression of feelings in at least 80% of our families, to achieve improved family relationships in at least 80% of the families, families will report a 50% decrease in behavioral or psychological challenges, and parents will report a growth of at least 70% in parenting skills, and those are our outcomes. Element 3, which is our community assistance program. The CAP program will consist of 2 components, which will be Project Rescue and our community counseling clinics. The duration for any cohort will be 1 year in the first instance. Time Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Venue, schools, and community centers. Ages of the students participating 8 to 18 years old, but as I've said to communities that I've been meeting with so far, if there's a child at 7 years old that you believe need to be a part of the program, if there's some person at 25 years old that need to be a part of the program, we will not turn them away. Participants will be involved in sessions concentrating on self-esteem, self-awareness, self-acceptance and efficacy, anger management, problem solving, and conflict resolution. And we chose these life skills because we believe that a lot of things that we are seeing within our society is because our young people are not mastering these life skills. Another aspect of the program will concentrate on leadership and decision making, career planning, business etiquette, and career mentoring. Our participants in the program will begin with the self modules, which will start with self-esteem and then move from there, after which they will complete the critical thinking, anger management, problem solving, and conflict resolution modules. Participants will then move on to emotional intelligence and mental health matters. The objectives: to assist participants with the development of coping, social, and life skills, to make participants aware of self and teach a high self-esteem level in all participants in the project, to offer counseling services that can enhance and uplift the moral fiber of the society through behavioral modification techniques, to inculcate and maintain an ultimate level of integrity and self-worth in Barbados' youth, to assist the communities in maintaining a safe and friendly environment, and to make participants aware of various ways of dealing with different situations calmly. For the outcomes, we are looking at the change in the participants' behavior, their knowledge, their attitude, and their skills. We are looking at the participants being able to apply life skills to all levels and to all situations. Participants, both the family and the child, should be able to communicate openly and more effectively after they've gone through the program. And participants should feel comfortable or confident they can use the skills in real life situations. The other part of the CAP, or the Community Assistance Program, will be our community counseling clinics. And these clinics, again, where we'll provide a psychologist who will go into the communities in a safe, private, secured area, and anybody from within the community who believe that they need to sit and to talk with a psychologist to discuss anything from unmanageable situations in the household, any kind of stressors, they can do that with the psychologist free of cost to that individual. Again, if the problem is too much to be handled on Saturday mornings, that person will be referred to the Supreme Office, where again we go through more intense intervention and get families involved. The outcomes, the counseling intervention make more accessible to individuals and families, an improvement in the coping skills of participants in the counseling clinics, families being able to cope more effectively with the daily challenges, and we'll be providing or creating stronger communities. Now, why should you consider this? Why should you think about partnering with Supreme Counseling on this venture? Firstly, if this project is supported, it can reform the lives of hundreds of children and families in Barbados. It means, therefore, that your future workmates, your future employees, you will know that you would have participated in shaping persons that will be conducive to the type of employee that you're looking for, the type of workmate that you would want to have. This project will allow children and families who are not financially sound to be able to get the assistance needed for the betterment of their children, of themselves. And if their minds are settled, they become more productive in the workplace. It will offer underprivileged children a fighting chance to excel in school, because they would have had the opportunity to be tested to address their issues in a timely and professional manner. An achievement of the main objective of this project will assist in the economic and the social development of Barbados. The reality is that the more families we can reach and save today results in fewer charges placed on our penal system, fewer burdens placed on our health system, less financial obligation placed on our families, our schools, and our communities tomorrow. Reach One, Save One has the potential to help thousands of Barbadians, in particular young people, who are products of broken homes, at-risk children, for whom this program could be the deciding factor between failure or success, between a child who is noticed and helped from the child who falls between the cracks, between the child who becomes a productive citizen from the one who is dependent on our depleting social services, from the child who enjoys his freedom from the one who is incarcerated. Your support would allow Supreme Counseling to continue its work in brightening the future of our youth. What is in it for you? Services will be made available to all management and staff of all participants. What does that mean? You partner with us, we make our psychological department available to you. So if you have an employee who you believe need to sit with a psychologist or whatever, you call on Supreme Counseling. If you are doing staff development and you need persons to come in, we do things like management of change, team building, bullying in the workplace, you name it, you call on Supreme Counseling. We are your partner. We come in, we work with you on that as well. So we are giving our skills back to you. Mention of your company, the products and or services to all persons involved in the Supreme Counseling Program. So if we have 1,300 children in the program, we have at least 1,300 parents, at least. And all of these children come with extended family. So the reach then from the amount of children in the program could be pretty broad for your company, for the products, and for your services. Again, we offer the opportunity where you can come in if you wish and have a discussion when we have our parents together, have a discussion with the parents about your products, your services, whether it be banking, insurance, selling hot dogs, you name it. We provide that for you as well. We will assist with increasing visibility for your company and its brand through brand awareness. This can be made possible through what I just mentioned in terms of coming in and addressing our families, or through our website, where we can make available a button on our website. You can press the button and it can lead us then directly to your website page, or any other advertising tool that you will want to employ. A settled and productive society equals increased productivity and the generation of wealth. So the more comfortable families are, the better it is for businesses, because they can work and they can do what they have to do. It would assist in the decrease in absenteeism, because you ain't gonna go to the school today because the principal there come for Sean Crack, or you don't hear behaving bad, or you don't have to take Sandra to the doctor because from being bullying, she has some kind of illness, or I can't come in here because I'm just stressed. So that working with us, it really can assist you. Awareness and visibility, as charities typically rely on volunteers to run their business and have small marketing budgets, social media plays a vital role in our marketing strategy. And we have Shane here, Shane Holford, who is a part of the Supreme Family for the past 10 years or so, and he assists us. And then we have our graphic artist in John Luke. We have now our new photographer, because the photographer who was a part of our family for almost 10 years or more passed away earlier this year. And I mention that because you can see that it's a family. When you start working with Supreme Council, I like to hold on to good people. And that's the reason why. So these persons then could also be put to your disposal to help with the visibility through our social media pages. Brands who are involved with the charitable work can typically work with the charities to utilize these social networks in order to promote their association, providing a greater reach to a different audience. Now, thank you, Shane.